Give me your picks, give me your insights. I want the bets from Betting Weekly. Because we win, that is our motto. Sometimes we win, sometimes we don't win. Don't give us the bird, don't give us your stink eye. We try our best and we're successful. Come watch our show, Bet River sponsors. It's time to start, enjoy the show.
Welcome in, everyone, to Betting Weekly Live. It is Monday, the 9th of February. You're with us, Steve Wyss and Jack Wright. Apologies for a slight delay to the start of today's transmission. Technical issues across the board. Jack, how was your weekend?
Very good, mate. Thank you. Hi to you. Hello to everyone. Yeah, very good weekend. Obviously, went back to Norwich. Got to see my team win, play okay, get the points, and yeah, it was just a good weekend.
Yeah, I saw you had a bit of not too bad. Not too bad a weekend, actually. I saw you had quite a bit of fun at Norwich.
Always.
So that's always a good thing, isn't it? Yeah, not a bad weekend for me. Leeds obviously got the win on Friday night.
As you were very confident about.
It's about the only thing I did get right on Friday night. It was a tough card, wasn't it? To be honest with you, across the board.
We nailed the England games.
Yeah, up and down the weekend. Juventus again. My love-hate relationship with Juventus, Jack. It just kept 34 shots yesterday and they still didn't win. I mean, that just sums them up. I don't know what to do with Juventus now, but it is what it is. And then, of course, the Super Bowl, was, I'll be honest, a little bit disappointing compared to normal because the Seahawks were so dominant. The Patriots could hardly move the ball at one point. I managed to hit a few prop plays winners in that one, but
you called the winner there as well, didn't you, on Friday? So that's how you signed off.
Hardly Mystic Meg that, though, is it, to be predicting the Seahawks in advance? Although I tell you did get another winner as my cat cricket on the betting zoo with Mike Carver. Her final prediction of the NFL season was this. Bear in mind, this is over a month ago. Her final prediction was that an NFC team would win the Super Bowl, and she got. I think she went 5-2 on the season on her picks.
Yeah.
So
she's going to be amazing on the Premier League show from next week. It's going to be exciting watching that.
She's found some form this season, that's for sure. Yeah. Right, I want to welcome everyone in. John Tate, good to see you. Villa fan as well. Duncan Evans, Mike as well. Real Brandon King, Stairway to 7, and Byron as well. Stephen Hall, good evening from the Philippines. I'm excited as the season starts here on Wednesday so I can watch live soccer. The best team in the Philippines would probably not beat Oldham in England, though. I've never bet on Philippine soccer. I've bet on a lot of soccer leagues, but I've never bet on that one, Stephen. I don't know if it's possible to. AUD, good to see you as well. Zorba the Greek. There's loads of you in already. How did your weekend go? How did your Super Bowl go? I'll tell you what, there's some very, very happy bettors who managed to get on the Seahawks earlier this season, Jack. Some notable long odds Super Bowl winners. $15 was placed. I don't know when this happened, maybe pre-season. $15 on the exact Super Bowl outcome, Patriots to beat the Seahawks at 200-1. And that's netted someone $3,000 from a $15 stake. So
wow, that's talking Mystic Meg. There you go.
Someone put $25 on Kenny Walker the third to be the Super Bowl MVP at 80-1. Now, again, I don't know when that was placed, maybe mid-season. $2,000 return from that one. We've got someone had $150 on the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl at 70-1. $10,000 return. That I think that was their preseason odds, 70-1. Also, the Seahawks were backed at 25-1. Kenny Walker again to win the MVP at 15-1. It just shows you if you time your futures bet at the right opportunity, you can make a good bit of coin. Biggest Super Bowl bet on the night. Wasn't the most bet Super Bowl ever, but $83,000 on the Seahawks, -2.5 against the Patriots. That was a winner, an easy winner at -204. Biggest bet on the Patriots was nearly $30,000 on the +7.5. Unfortunately, that lost. Big live bet on Kenny Walker again to win the MVP award at $27,000 play there at -156. So, some really smart bettors out there. It kind of reminds me of the futures. Perhaps the only real comparison we have got over here is maybe Champions League a little bit, things like that. Get on at the right time. And it seems there's some very shrewd operators out there, Jack.
Yeah. Matt, it's always worth keeping an eye on those futures markets because, some of the leagues we talk about have been pretty much, obviously, when we talk the likes of Germany and France, and you kind of can be dead in the water quite quickly. But there are so many out there, and I say different markets. The relegation markets talks about top scorer markets that are fluctuating. There's been some outsiders given a bit of a challenge. So it's always worth keeping an eye on that futures tab and seeing if there's something there that catches your eye at a big price. And it doesn't take a lot for it to swing in your favour, does it?
Yeah, I mean, there's interesting stat here from producer Troy. If you parlayed the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl and Indiana to win the college championship before the season, you'd have won $10,000 on a $1 wager. That's incredible.
That's the dream, isn't it?
Incredible. A guy called A said Kenny Walker was superb yesterday. Yeah, he dominated that game, didn't he, for the Seahawks offensively. Villa fan said, it's the first time I'd watched even a minute of American football. He lasted till halftime and went to bed, wondering what all the hype is about. I mean, you've lasted till halftime. That's not a bad effort, actually, Villa fan.
He's Bad Bunny. That's the question.
Yeah, did you stay around to watch Bad Bunny? Yeah, that was Bad Bunny, I watched that one. It was an incredible production. I couldn't understand hardly a word of it. My Spanish is terrible these days. But
I went to bed when I realised there wasn't Jive Bunny.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's a good one. Just looking through some of the comments today. Ginepi just bet on McKennie, Steve, not Juve. Yeah, McKennie scored again. He's doing incredible for Juventus this season. But someone said RHM 2959. We need winners tonight, gentlemen. It's been an awful weekend. Okay. I've got a good feeling about today. I really do, Jack. Famous last words. I just do. I've got a feeling I could hit quite a few winners on this show today. So, watch this space.
I'm very strong about the championship game tonight. Very strong.
I'm strong. I've got some strong opinions on quite a lot of games. We've got several fixtures to discuss. The championship game, 2 in Serie A. We've got a La Liga spicy fixture, and we go to Portugal today as well. One huge match and one match which may have the biggest betting potential of the whole day as well. So, watch this space for that one. Anyway, we might as well get into the early action. And it is the early kickoff here in Serie A. This is Atalanta against the Cremonese. Atalanta minus 315 on the money line, a tie plus 400, Cremonese plus 900. And this newly promoted outfit, Cremonese, really starting to struggle, Jack, here. It's a good job they've got a few points above the relegation zone for now, but I think they could be in major danger of getting sucked into trouble. The biggest problem is they're not scoring enough goals. Cremonese, Atalanta in decent enough form, survived that incredible XG onslaught last week in Como. Conceded over 5 expected goals and didn't concede a goal. Incredible 0-0 for Atalanta, but they get a point out of it. And they also won in the Cup midweek. Good win against Juventus. This should be fairly straightforward sailing, really, for Atalanta this evening. Would you agree?
It looks that way, doesn't it? You sometimes get a little bit of a perfect storm, and you would suggest that if you're looking at certain bets here, this is a perfect storm. Atalanta winning games, not conceding goals. Cremonese losing games and not able to score goals. So how do you get Atalanta on side? If you want to get them on side, do you play the handicaps or do you go down the route that we do like to play quite regularly? And talking of which, Nigel's got a couple of very strong 1-0 plays coming up in the Premier League show, which I think goes live sometime soon after this, doesn't it? But we recorded it today. And that's the sort of route I'll look at. If you want to go both teams to score, no, it's minus 129. Atalanta were talked about there, minus $3 and a bit to win the game, but to win it and keep a clean sheet. So 1-0. Go to the specials tab at the end on the BetRivers app, and there it is, plus 115, which then seems to be a rather big price. To me, Atalanta, 7 games unbeaten. Yeah, you mentioned they rode the luck against Como, but they've shown that they can be resolute defensively if not given up plenty of XG. Brings that into that age-old argument about that, doesn't it? They've only conceded 1 goal in those 7 games as well. They won their last 4 at home to 0, including in the Cup. And both teams to score no has cashed in 8 of the last 9 home games for them. Cremonese just scored 1 goal in their last 9 league games, which is an atrocious record. Both teams score no, cashing in 9 of 10. They've lost their last 3 on the road to 0, with this bet cashed in 7 of their last 8 games, including each of the last 5. You got to play it at plus money, plus 115. That's my route in.
Yeah, I looked at both teams score no here, minus 129. But I've got to be honest, I think the win to nil's the better bet. Plus 115 is a big difference, actually. If there wasn't much difference in it, I would take both teams score no, because then you've got the 0-0 on your side. There's nothing wrong with both teams score no, by the way, if you want to be more cautious here. Cremonese, like you say, no goal in 8 of the last 9 games. I mean, one of the main reasons is they don't shoot very often, Jack. They average the lowest number of shots in Serie A, just 8.6 shots per game. That is really low. And they seem pretty toothless. It really would be a surprise if they score. Probably 0-0 is the best they can do. And yeah, it seems the chat really like this bet as well. Some people struggling to choose between the handicap or the win to 0. I think win to 0's got to be the better bet because you get that 1-0 in your pocket. But said there's probably nothing wrong with that handicap either, because I do see this being at least 2-0 to Atalanta, the way that things have been going. So yeah, I think it's fair enough. Is that one really? Are there any props in this game that caught your eye or not for this one, Jack?
No, there's not. No, nothing in that one.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I think it's like it's heavy weighted. Yeah,
I was exactly the same. Any props I've got actually for Italy in the next game. I will get you some betting breakdowns for the fixture for those who are interested. 93% of the money is on Atalanta and 97% of the tickets as well. 84% of the money is on the over for this game, which was a little bit of a surprise because I think Atalanta are going to have to do all the heavy lifting. Over 2.5 goals is minus 159. I don't think I would be all over that at all, because 2-0 is very possible. 1-0 is possible. It did seem, in a match where only one team's going to score. Then, John Tate says corners. What do I think about this one? If they get ahead early, then I'm not sure about it, John, to be honest. But if they take a while to break them down, then I think the corners will rack them up. Cremonese, I don't think will be contributing so too much in that regard. So I think maybe, probably is a play pre-game actually. And if they did get ahead early, maybe you could, cash yourself out or something, or cover yourself. How do I think Atalanta will cope without Lookman? I think they're going to be all right because they've got a big enough squad. Lookman's been decent for sure, but I think they've been a team that have rotated a lot in the last 18 months. It's not like yes, he probably would have been one of the first names on the team sheet, but I think they can go all right. Real Brandon King's going with the Atalanta clean sheet minus 110. So fair enough. He wants to get that 0-0 covered across the board. I don't know what odds Cremonese are to get relegated, by the way, but I think I'd be interested if they're a decent price. I need to look at that because I think they are definitely on the downer there. Lucifer's gone on the minus 1.5 handicap, and I wouldn't blame anyone for that one either. We might as well finish up with the second Serie A game now. Roma against Cagliari. Don't know if either of us are daft enough to get involved in a Cagliari game, Jack. The curse of Cagliari on this show. Roma minus 220. Cagliari, an informed Cagliari, it must be said. Plus 700 in the tie at plus 295. Over 2.5 goals is plus 104. Both teams score. Yes, it's plus money. The bet that catches my eye, Jack, here, under 2. There's a few props I like, but under 2.25 goals, minus 105. Cagliari, I do believe, will just come here trying to get a 0-0. I don't think they'll offer much. Another team who don't offer many shots per game, just 10.2 shots per game. And Roma, really, are just lacking a lot of offensive weapons, it must be said. So many key men out in attacking areas. Looks like Doniel Marlon will start here, a new signing. Registered a goal last time out, but can you rely on Marlon as an out-and-out kind of number 9? Not really sure you can. I'm envisioning a really poor game, actually, and the 0-0 might even be on the table for this one. I do like the under, but it is Cagliari involved, so I'm always a bit cautious. What do you think?
Yeah, 8 of Roma's last 9 have gone under. So that would certainly point you in that direction. It's quite a shortish price, so you might want to be a bit more aggressive than that. You've kind of hit the nail on the head as far as the curse, the jinx of Cagliari is like just so off-putting for us, isn't it? What do we do? Whatever we say, maybe, yeah. If we're going unders, then expect a 5-3 thriller, knowing how it's gone. But no, it's a tough one. I'll be honest. All my eggs were in one basket here, and that was a player prop. And it shows you why we don't really do them officially on any of the shows that we do, because even like an hour before we went live, Brian Cristante was over 1.5 hours, was plus 100. It's now minus 200. So it's like been absolutely obliterating, and rightly so. So that was where my prep had gone into it, and I looked at the unders as a bit of a lean as far as on the main lines are concerned. But I think Roma to sneak it in an unders kind of fashion. That's possibly what I was looking at. But yeah, this
just a
tight one, isn't it?
I mean,
tight one.
There's a few player props to look at for me in this game. I think Marlon to score plus 195 would be the best goal scorer bet. If you are going to have a goal scorer bet, that's too big for an out-and-out starting. He's effectively starting up front for them against one of the poorest teams in the league at home. Pellegrini for a shot on target minus 118. This is not a player that shoots a lot, but when he does, it's usually with quality. Yeah. That's not bad. He averages a shot on target every 87 minutes. Minus 118, that seems about fair odds to me. So you could do worse than that. So those are 2 player props which caught my eye. There's going to be, I've got to mention fouls and cards in this game because I think the match is going to be affected greatly by them. These two sides rank in the top 5 for fouls committed this season. Also, in terms of fouls received, Cagliari are miles clear of any other side in terms of cards obtained. So basically what this is going to mean is we're going to get a very start-stop game, which will really impact the rhythm of it. And that is, again, another reason I like the unders. I'm convinced that in these matches where we don't get any sort of general pace of play and it's stopping and starting, it reduces the counter-attacks, reduces the goal potential. So, again, I think that's what this is not going to be a great watch at all. Really is not. I do know I'm aware that you can actually bet on the fouls. Some states, and the foul line is 30.5 now with Bet Rivers, which might seem high. It's probably not high enough for this sort of game. Probably about 35 fouls in this game, based on what we're seeing from the teams. The card line I think is around about 4.5, maybe 5.5. But yeah, for me, under 2.25 goals would be one of the best sort of over-under plays of the day. Cagliari involved, so I'm always a bit nervous. Mike Sviar, of course, the goalkeeper for Roma, has been brilliant this season, it must be said. A player that's currently involved trying to switch his nationality from Serbia to Belgium. Bit of an ongoing battle there in the background. But this guy, I mean, Roma have overachieved their expected goals against significantly this season. Mike Svilar is one of the main reasons for it. So 1-0 to Roma, probably, if I had to stick my neck on it. Marlon, maybe? Marlon again?
Pointing that way, isn't it?
I think he's not a bad player, Marlon. I think he's been a bit unlucky I think it was a bit unlucky how he got treated at Villa to a degree, because he was only eligible for certain games. And, they got down that rabbit hole this year with Harvey Elliott, haven't they, as well?
Yeah.
Marlon's a decent player, but I'm not sure this group of players really suits him at Roma. I mean, what did you think of him at Villa, Marlon?
Yeah, I think it was one of those that some games he looked a well beater, and then he kind of was a bit anonymous. Just as you felt he was maybe getting a little bit of form together, scoring goals. He's done some great stuff in the Europa League, didn't he? And then covered for Watkins while he was out. They kind of flip-flopped, didn't they? It started off Watkins and him as the understudy, and then he did well enough that he kind of forced his way into the starting 11. I was going to say, we've got plenty of Villa fans that are regular contributors here, would probably give us a far better in-depth analysis on Marlon, what they think of him, seeing him virtually every week. But I felt that he had it in him, and I think he just needs regular game time where he's probably given the confidence that he's going to be the main man.
Yeah, just looking through some of the comments here, and Real Brandon King said he's swerving this one. Half-time, full-time, -110, says Byron. Villa fan, Cremonese plus 250 for relegation. I think that could be worth a nibble, I really do. John Tate, Roma have only dropped points through the current bottom half team on 2 occasions this season. And they did, of course, lose to Cagliari earlier in the campaign. Roma winning under 3.5 goals, SGP, could be worth a look. Real Brandon King's asking a sentence or two on Roma from us to win potentially the Europa. They've got the manager. Yeah, I like the manager. I'm just not sure. Can defense win this trophy with the amount of high quality teams going around in Europa? I'm just not sure Roma do fit that bill. But this is a manager who has won it before, but I think he's still trying to get his imprint here on Roma. They wouldn't be for me, Jack.
I think there's possibly better options in there. It's a tough tournament to win, isn't it? There's some big sides that drop into that who are desperate for trophy. And I think while you've got, we've already talked about them, but while you've got Villa there and you've got that certain Unai Emery,
Roma's second favourites here. I mean, let's look at this. This is probably for Europa League chat another day. Villa, the clear favourites. You got Lyon at plus 800, Porto, Real Betis, Forest, Bologna, Freiburg, Stuttgart. I don't think they're value at plus 700 to win the Europa League. I would want at least double digit figures, 10 to 1 or more for Roma to win it. So they wouldn't be for me, but they might be for someone else.
Porto have a little bit of interest for me at plus 900. If you on that, you get some place money if they get to the final. But we'll leave that. I'll leave that to the experts in other shows.
How is Celta Vigo 33 to 1 to win that? That seems absurdly high for but Real Betis 10 to 1, Celta Vigo 33s. I'm not saying that. I don't get that. 33 on Celta Vigo. That seems ridiculously high. There should be 20 to 1 tops, in my opinion. Okay, 91% of the money is on Roma. 90% of the tickets are on Roma for this game. 71% of the money is on the over, which is not exactly a great amount. As I said, I do like the under in that one. Suggested a few player props. We're looking at a stop-start game with fouls and cards as well. And we'll move on to the next set of fixtures soon. But before that, I've got to remind people, of course, we've got the fun bet is active at the moment. Betting Weekly live bonus bet. Tennis, soccer, baseball, basketball, whatever you are following right now, bet on it in February with a fun bet. Betting Weekly and Bet Rivers have teamed up to give you a $10 bonus bet at Bet Rivers when you enter the bonus code BW201. That is BW201. Offer expires the 15th of February, so you've got another week to use it up. Must be 21 and eligible players only. So a $10 fun bet. I'm sure a lot of you used that over the weekend on whatever sport, but for those who haven't, then the option is still open. And loads on the card this week as well before that expiry date. Okay, let's crack on to the first part of your daily double, actually, Jack. We're going to go championship right now. A lot of excitement around in this game. Sheffield United against Middlesbrough. Sheffield United plus 117, Middlesbrough plus 190, ties at plus 230. And it must be said, two teams in good form against each other here. Middlesbrough are absolutely flying. Sheffield United have obviously been far, far better under Chris Wilder. And that's why they're plus 117 here. I mean, Middlesbrough are not going to be plus 190 against many teams for the remainder of this season, Jack. Is this a chance to get on them, or is it a case of Sheffield United maybe show their quality and show them, okay, we're the side in mid-table, but we're actually the better outfit?
This is an intriguing game. Like those prices, as you say, Middlesbrough aren't going to be that too often. I think they're widely regarded as the best side in the championship at the moment. Both form-wise, they've shown that. They're obviously up there as well at this moment in time in an automatic promotion spot. And I think most people have said that they're probably going to get one ahead of Coventry, who might fall away a little bit. They're stuttering. But yeah, Borough have been excellent. Sheffield United got off to an absolutely horrendous start under Ruben Sayas. And went back to Old Faithful, didn't they? Went back to Wilder, who took a little bit of time just to get things going, but they're motoring now. And I think I saw a stat the other day about like the 15-game form table where Sheffield United are actually top of that alongside Borough. And these two sides are kind of neck and neck as far as their performances have gone. Kim Helbjerg's gone into Borough and done a sensational job, taking over from Rob Edwards, who jumped ship to Wolves. And I think you might find out that his old club's going to take his new club's or current club's position in the Premier League for next season. So he'll swap, he'll be back down. But what these two sides are all-out attack. This should be, I'd be shocked if it isn't, an absolute brilliant watch. It's great that it's in the UK, it's been given kind of top billing. There's no Premier League action on tonight, so it's got the Monday night football here tag. So, and we should see goals. We should really see goals. Both these sides, say, are very, very front foot, very attacking. What you'll get from Sheffield United is certainly a case that they're not going to kind of worry about Middlesbrough and go in a low block. They'll go front foot. They'll look to attack. They'll look to score goals, which will leave it open for Borough to do the same. Saw Borough a couple of weeks ago against Norwich, and again, a side that's gone and tried to attack them just opens it up. How that ended 1-0, I'm not certain. It should have been a lot more high scoring than that. But so you look across the games at this moment, Chris Wilder's side has scored 3 goals in each of their last 5 home matches, and in 6 of the last 7, and they've won their last 3-1 in the league. So shows you that there are goals at both ends. They've got a very potent attack. The last 10 across all venues seen 3.7 goals per game, and 7 of those 10 have gone over 2.5 goals. One's gone over 7.5, 2 have gone over 6.5, and half of those games gone over 3.5. And what we're taking here is over 2.5 at -118, and I think that's great. This bet's also cashed in 9 of Helberg's 14 games in charge in all competitions. So high probability, high strike rate on this, and I was really surprised to see this line set at 2.5 and be backable as a single. So yeah, that's a strong opinion on this.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds really strong from you. That's going to be the first part of the daily double today. Sheffield United against Middlesbrough over 2.5 goals. Just looking at some comments in chat. Duncan says, I think Borough a great bet tonight. Middlesbrough very tempting, a guy called A says. John Tate's got some interesting stats about the fixture. Both teams to score in overs, says John Tate. Good stake dinners going. Yeah. Both teams score no, though, at +120. Everyone's got a different sort of view. That could still very much cash the over 2.5 goals, though. But Middlesbrough here, +190 with Bet Rivers. I think that's the latest odds. Would they be, would that tempt you at all, Jack, in any way?
I'd make it about right. You look at the table and you'd probably be a little bit kind of, well, that looks like value. It might be a little bit of value, but I just think Sheffield United at home are formidable. Someone's already mentioned in chat there that they've taken some big scalps at Bramall Lane. It's a formidable place to go with the crowd behind them. They obviously love Wilder, the fans there, and he just gets a tune out of the players. He's a fan. He's a Sheffield United fan. They'll win tonight. You'll probably see footage of him on social media tomorrow dancing on tables and getting all excited with the fan base there, and the fans love it. And as I say, he gets them right behind him. Is this his 3rd tour duty at Sheffield United now? They keep kind of getting rid of him, but they keep going back to him, because he gets them up there and thereabouts. And I wouldn't rule him out of sneaking into the playoffs still because of the form that they've been in. They've been phenomenal.
Yeah, they've been on my radar sort of to get in the playoffs for a while, but then they just drop a game somewhere and you're like, I still think
that's the championship, though, Steve, isn't it? That's the championship.
I think they'll come close. I mean, this is obviously a game in hand. If they win this, they would only be 5 off the playoffs. There's loads of teams in the mixer there. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. We've got a betting split as well for the game. 64% of the money's on Sheffield United on the money line, but 58% of the tickets are on Middlesbrough. So I think Middlesbrough are a bit of a public play here. I think you look at the league table, the form, and you think, right, if you bet solely based on that, Middlesbrough would be a bet for you all day long here.
Yeah,
but we've probably got one of the top 6 teams in the championship currently in 16th place in Sheffield United. That they are a top 6 caliber side at this point in time for me. So that's why they are the favourites for the game. 83% of the money in the over-under market is on the over. No real surprise there. I think it's a great clash of managers. I mean, Kim Hellberg, I've banged on about for a while. Really good tactician, really good man manager as well. But then Chris Wilder has got the championship experience. He knows how to get out of this league. He knows how to win matches. He knows the course and distance in this league. So it's a real good matchup. Let's hope they go, blow for blow, goal for goal, and we get a really good spectacle here at Bramall Lane. For over 2.5 goals being the first pick of the daily double. Any player props here?
There's a couple of players playing. I love. You got to look at Morgan Whitaker as someone at -122 always. But Hayden Hackney, one of, if not the best midfielders, all players, full stop, really, in the Championship. Courted by a lot of sides that are desperate to get his signature. Again, a local lad. For him to be +133 for a shot on target, I know I've talked about how hard it is going to Sheffield United, going to Bramall Lane, but he'll look to try and get the game by the scruff of the neck. He'll be bang up for this tonight. So Hayden Hackney would be the one that stands out for me. There's several players that could that I could go through, and you look at them. There's several players there that are kind of eye catchers or could be the match winner tonight. Alan Brown's one that goes under the radar, so look out for him. And say Gus Hamer's always one that I like if he gets game time. Callum O'Hare, another one on the Sheffield United side of it. But Hayden Hackney's the one that would stand out for me. He's +133 for a shot on target. You obviously then got all the other options as far as that's concerned as well. Just seeing what he is to score tonight. Where is he on there? Sorry about this. He is +420 to score. So a bit of a talisman for Middlesbrough. And I fancy him to have a big game tonight.
Louis Mitt says, issue with Borough is their mentality. Coventry have opened the door now, but will the nerves get to them tonight? I think they will. Coventry certainly have opened that door. Suddenly a little bit of drama going on there at Coventry. They might pick themselves up. It's the Championship. It's the long season. There are peaks and troughs. Mr. Gargoyle, good to see you. Malin may well be underrated. This is regarding the Roma fixture. Physically strong and quite fast. He might work well in Serie A. Already got on the board. 5 shots as well he had last week for Roma in his first match for them, Mr. Gargoyle. So he's a player worth watching for. That's the first party daily double. For the second party daily double, we're going to move to Portugal. Actually, we've got 2 fixtures to check in on. One huge match later, Porto against Sporting. But the second party daily double actually comes in this first clash. Famalicao against AVS. Now, Famalicao, this is an early kickoff. It kicks off in about an hour's time. Am I right, Jack? I think it's an hour's time. 4:45 Eastern time. Yeah, so that's why we've got to get into this one straight away. Famalicao, pretty much a mid-table outfit. AVS, one of the very few teams in any top flight league in Europe that have yet to win a game this season. Famalicao at -215 will be a very tempting bet for a lot of people in parlays and stuff like that. But it is the goals market you're looking in. I really like this one as well, Jack. Got to be honest with you. You're looking at over 2.5 goals in this game as well.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it, Steve. Thank you. Over 2.5 goals, -134. Add that into the Sheffield United one. I'll be brief because, I say, it kicks off in an hour, so we want to get on and get that early win on the board. For Famalicao, 6 out of 10 home games gone over 2.5 goals, 7 of the 9 away for AFFs. It's combined 68%, 4-1 last season as well. And so they're the whipping boys down at the bottom there, as you've already said, haven't they? They've literally got no win on the board so far, conceding goals for fun. And Famalicao has kind of dropped a little bit off the pace, but they're 8th in the table. We'll need a win tonight just to kind of have a sort of bit of hope to close the gap on the top 4. 7 points off the top 4. So win tonight, you know what I mean? That suddenly becomes a little bit more of a manageable total, doesn't it? You think you're then 4 points off the top 4. That seems like it's within reach. But so they want to put a statement out there tonight, get the win, and do it convincingly. There's a lot of goals around when these two sides are playing, and I fancy them to combine tonight for so at least 3 or more in this one.
Yeah, I really like this over. It would possibly be my best bet of the day. Really? Because I think Famalicao can cover this all by themselves.
Yeah.
The AFS have recently been just swinging. 3-3 draw against Casapia, and they had about 25 shots in that game. And in midweek, they actually took Sporting to extra time in the cup.
Yeah.
And there was something like +3 on the Asian line there. And they came from 2-0 down to draw in 90 minutes. They came from 3-0 down to draw against Casapia. So look, they're at a stage now, the season, where they know they're going down, but they might as well swing. And they want to get a win on the board. And Famalicao, I mean, they are inconsistent, but I think over 2.5 goals looks really good here for them. I mean, AFS, like someone said, Byron, that they are bad. 15 defeats, 5 draws. You know, if they were a car, you know, there'd be ABS, wouldn't they? Because the brakes are constantly on this team. Wouldn't be DRS, would it? They've got no propulsion at all here. I think they can score. I think they can get on the board today, which would certainly help the over. Famalicao probably win it, but I'd rather take the over for this fixture. 95% of the money's on Famalicao, 88% of the money's on the over, and that's the daily double. Sheffield United, Borough, Famalicao against AVS, over 2.5 goals, double, and that's at +215. I've got a really good feeling about that bet, Jack. I just have, and I think that wins. I've got a good feeling about it. So let's hope we can catch that one.
Yes,
that is the official
strong start.
That's the official daily double today. The later game, of course, has given me more eyes on the later game. That's for sure. Probably more money on the later game as well. One of the biggest games actually in Europe this weekend. Porto against Sporting. Now the top 3 in Portugal, whenever they meet, it's a big occasion. And Porto have just lost for the first time actually the weekend. And Sporting really need a win to get back on their coattails again. Benfica probably hoping for a draw or Sporting win even. And Porto +140, Sporting Club are +205, the tie +215. Over 2.5 goals is actually surprisingly plus money. But I mean, this is a clash which at the moment, I watched a fair bit of Portuguese football last week actually when I was out there. Sporting have a bit of momentum, you know. They've got a goal scorer in Luis Suarez, former Marseille man. Porto, maybe now with that defeat, let's see how they respond. I mean, last year, let's remember the manager blew a very similar lead for Ajax. Is the same going to happen for Villarreal this season? I mean, you mentioned Porto. I like what I've seen from him this season, but this now might be a mental ghost for him. How do Porto approach it? If they win the game, they're looking really good for the title.
Yeah.
They would go, 7 clear and 8 clear of Benfica. Lose it, though, and it's game on. So I don't know how this is going to go, Jack. The weather forecast is for rain in Porto as well, just to spice it up. I'm tempted by Sporting draw no bet here, based on what I've seen recently. I really am.
Do you know what? It's not so good for the show, probably, is it? But I think I dip in and out of Portugal a bit with the betting side of things, and I find it hard in a league like Portugal where you've got those 3 clear, and then when they play each other, all the info you've got to work on, all the stats really that you've got to work on, go out the window to a certain degree. They're beating sides 4-1, 5-0, 6-0, and then they play each other, and it's like, well, what are you going to get? You know, you could say like Porto's home record is sensational. You know, they've only conceded a couple of goals at home in 9 matches. You went, well, how can you go for goals in it, or how both teams to score? But then you look at Sporting's record and you go, well, stand up on its own right, and you'd think you're getting value. So I just find it tough to call. I tell you what, you've got some decent strikers in this league playing tonight. As you say, some good creativity in there as well. I feel that I think someone's already mentioned it. Both teams are scoring over 2.5 goals. Like, that's what I was kind of leaning towards. In it, like plus money for over 2.5 goals. I can't help but feel that defensive record for Porto has been factored into that. But when all of that is against sides generally, you know, all by 1 or 2 games are less, I just feel that this could well be. And then say you've got a game here that Sporting have got to go to and win. If Sporting were top of the table and could go there and go, we'll take a tie, then that becomes a little bit of a different scenario. But I think because they're going to go there, they want to, they'll need to have a go at this, and I think that could lead to it being a bit more of an open and entertaining affair.
What I've noticed recently in Portugal, and the weather there hasn't been great in the last month. Really, there's been a lot more goals than normal, and I do wonder if maybe the state of the pitches, they're not used to being involved in these sort of fixtures as much. And I do think there could be goals in the game. I think Luis Suarez at plus 175 score any time would be the best player prop of the game. I mean, he scored in the very last kick last week with a beautiful flick. I mean, he tears up this league really, really well.
Yeah.
One thing we must say, there probably will be that there's a major risk of a red card in this game. The history of the card line. Bet Rivers have set the card line at 7.5 for this game.
Yeah,
which might sound a lot, but there's been an unbelievable amount of cards when these sides have met recently. Just mentioning a few: 8 yellows and 2 reds, 8 yellows, 6 yellows, 6 yellows, 6 yellows, 7 yellows and 1 red. That's the last 6 meetings. The referee in charge is Luis Miguel Branco Godinho, very experienced ref. 400 matches he's refereed nearly in his professional career, and it's his first big game in a while. Actually, I think for 2 years since he's had a really, really high profile fixture. This is a man who once issued 13 cards in a Benfica versus Porto game 3 years ago. So again, what I'm mentioning, Jack, is it's a dangerous game to bet in because you could get a team that goes down to 10 men at any point.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. He only showed 3 last time he refereed Porto. I was just then looking on there. It was a 2-0 win at Tondela, but he did, again, we're seemingly sponsored by Aston Villa. He did take Villa's game against Fenerbahce last month and showed 9. So,
yeah. It's going to be that sort of game. It could be stop-start, which, there could be fouls around. There could be flare-up incidents, and that's always the sort of match where it's dangerous to bet on. 76% of the money is on Porto, just 60% of the tickets, which it kind of suggests quite a weak. Then they're not that strongly backed, really. There, Porto. You would have, normally they'd have way more money. 71% of the money is on the over for the game in the over/under market. Red card just plus 230, Brian, by the way, which is incredibly low in terms of odds. But again, would you bet against that? You probably wouldn't, because these players are likely to lose control at any given moment in this match. So I think it's going to be a good game to watch. I'm going to bet on Luis Suarez to score any time. I think Sporting will not lose the game. That's the way I see it. I think they're the better team than Porto now anyway. But let's see. Home advantage will be really, really important. We have got one more match to discuss today. It's a good one as well, actually, in La Liga later on. 3 p.m. Eastern time kickoff. Villarreal against Espanyol. -148 favourites here, Villarreal. Espanyol have had a good season but struggled of late. They're +370. Over 2.5 goals is -132. This is another over I like, Jack. I think we will get the goals flowing here. Actually, I like over 2.75 goals at nearly even money. I believe we will get both. I mean, I'm actually more concerned about the defenses at the minute. There's missings for Villarreal at the back. We know the strength of them is going forwards, and Espanyol had a tight defense for a lot of the season, but it often works out that way. It's so hard to keep up that defensive rigidity for a whole season, and I think they're starting to show their frailties. I don't know who's going to win it. I wouldn't surprise if either team won. I wouldn't be shocked, but I think we're going to see at least three goals. I like the idea of over 2.75 in this one. How about you?
Yeah, I think it was a tough one. I'd fancy Villarreal to come out on top, but as you say, both are out of form at the moment. So Villarreal they're both kind of slipping away from those European places, or in danger of. But I felt that again, it probably looked like a goal. It's obviously got one of my Mikatadze playing for Villarreal. Was one of the player that I've got an affinity with. He's done well for me in his early days and continued to do so recently. But I thought Moreno, if he starts, that looks a big price to score, +200. Again, a proven goal scorer, scored plenty of goals this season as well. So I just thought that price stood out a little bit. But I'm with you. I think there should be goals in it. A game that both will look and target really, as far as thinking, well, the opposition are out of form here. We can use this to get back to winning ways. So again, a big game as far as the battle for those top 6 places are concerned in La Liga.
Totally with you. Gerard Moreno, plus 200 to score any time. Now, this is a player, I've got to be honest, is a dangerous player to bet on because of his injury record. In fact, this week he didn't train much at all. A bit like a Ledley King for those who remember him. He never trained all week and then he played the matches because of his problems that he had. But Moreno, he played 83 minutes last week, which is a lot for him.
Yeah.
Scored 2 goals. He's going to be by far the best technical player on this field by a long way. He's on penalty kick duty. And I think that's just too big to refuse here. Plus 200 on Gerard Moreno. Look, you might lose your bet after 5 minutes because he could come off at any point. But what a player.
I felt it was a big price. Yeah, I felt it was a big price. He scored in, ticking back, he scored in 6 of his last 10 La Liga appearances. And I just feel that at the price, he is worth a chance. To say he was kind of not expected to come back from what I could make out in that last game, and he did come back and scored twice. So, assuming he's not had any, I say he's not trained much during the week. You assume he's not had too much negative reaction to that. He'll get a start here, get the job done nice and early, then he can nip off at half time or something.
Well, it's exactly the same this week. For most of the week, he wasn't expected to play. Now, suddenly, including the squad, seems fit to go. I think he'll start, and he looks far too big a price. I quite like a shot on target parlay as well here, Jack. There's 3 players I'm interested in. The 2 strikers for Espanyol, Roberto Fernandez and Pere Milia, both to have a shot on target each, and also we can add George Mikatadze into that at plus 425 for. In what I think will be an offensive game. I don't think it's asking a lot for the 2 main strikers for Espanyol. Plus, Mikatadze should be playing 90 minutes, really, to get that shot on target. Plus 425. You could add Moreno in that if you wanted. I think it's about 10-1 then. But I'd be so annoyed if he came off injured after 20 minutes and your bet's ruined. But, I think this is going to be a good game. This would probably be my joint best bet of the day with that AVS one. Over 2.75 goals. Villarreal against Espanyol. The money for the game is on Villarreal. 89% of the money at 94% of the tickets, and 70% of the money is on the over for the game. So good luck, whatever you are taking in that one. I want to remind people of the fun bet for those who are coming in a little bit later or watching on demand. Betting weekly live bonus bet, tennis, soccer, basketball, whatever sport you're following right now. Bet on it with a February fun bet. Betting Weekly and Bet Rivers have teamed up to give you a $10 bonus bet at Bet Rivers when you enter the bonus code BW201. That is BW201. Don't miss out on that. Offer expires February the 15th. Must be 21 and eligible players only. The Premier League show will be released at 12:15 Eastern time, I do believe, basically in less than half an hour, Jack. I've no idea what your plays are on there. I sometimes get a sneak look before it goes live. I've not watched it yet, so I'm excited to hear. Nigel's got a couple of winter nil plays, and Nigel will be joining me tomorrow on Betting Weekly Live, I do believe, unless the schedule has changed. That's going to be an exciting
big guns. Big guns. We've got 7 official plays on the Premier League show this week, so
swinging hard.
And the biggest odds are plus 750.
Nah, I'll tell you what. Now you're teasing people here.
Well,
really,
only got half hour to wait.
What is that? 2 units on plus 750.
Can't tell you that. Can't tell you that information.
You can't tell me that one. But do watch Premier League show. We've got a midweek card, and we've got an exciting week lined up on Betting Weekly Live. Like I said, we've got Nigel tomorrow, and then there's a double dose of Lewis Jones as well, Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday with Dan, and then Thursday with me. There must be Thursday games, is there, in the Premier League?
There's one. Arsenal play Thursday. Yeah.
The Arsenal.
Yes.
Betting Weekly Live PM, of course, will be on 4 p.m. Eastern time with Doug and Mike, and they had a brilliant week last week. 4 out of 5 daily doubles they won.
Yeah,
and there were some really juicy odds as well. They hit some good Super Bowl winners. So they are definitely a duo to be tailing right now. So do check them out, 4 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll remind people of the Daily Double before we go. Get on early here because that Famalicao game is kicking off in less than an hour. But it's Sheffield United, Middlesbrough over 2.5 goals. Famalicao against AVS in Portugal over 2.5 goals. Plus 215 on the daily double. What is your best bet of the day, Jack? Apart from the double, of course.
Well, it's part of the double. I can't get away from it because you can bet it as a single. Sheffield United, Middlesbrough over 2.5 goals. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think my best bet would be also on that double for Famalicao AVS. So either that or the Espanyol match over. So yeah, I really like the look of that daily double.
What
Let's
could go
hope we
wrong?
can
Nothing.
cash that. It's going to hopefully go well today. But thanks everyone who joined live or on demand. Really appreciate you recently. There's been so many commenters. Do hit that like button. We need as many likes as we can. And anyone new in chat, please do consider subscribing to the channel. We're motoring towards 13,000 subscribers now. I'm looking forward to tomorrow with Nigel on the show. Jack, it was a great pleasure as always. And I'm looking forward to checking you out on that Premier League Premier League show in about 20 minutes time now. Remember everyone to gamble responsibly, take care, cash those tickets. Thanks very much, Jack, again, and we'll see you next time on Betting Weekly Live. Goodbye.